Welcome in. We are going to deep dive and dissect your psychological to stay at the forefront of what is going on under the surface. And the first message I got today was you are leaving it all behind, potentially starting over from scratch, which can be quite scary. Quite scary. But it sounds like you have, for the first time, potentially stood up for yourself and advocated for yourself. And you're coming to the conclusion of what is yours to hold and what is yours to let go of. And that's a very liberating feeling when you're when you're tuned into that discernment. It's so important to know what is yours and what is not. I was watching the show Outcast this weekend. Very awesome show. It's just a group of 16 people dropped in the middle of nowhere, having to learn how to survive, eat, and get the water that is required for their survival, and made the last team win. And what's interesting is it's a game. So they are all on a game board, and the winning prize is $1 million. But during the game, the really frustrating part was so many personal vendettas were sort of being influenced and manipulated throughout the journey, because right, the goal is to win. So the more you can lure somebody into your emotional chaos, the more they feel bad or guilty or shameful. But the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, am I a savage? Right? So my thoughts are, as you're a savage. And what is a savage? A savage understands the difference between what is real and what is made up, created through the mind. And so, right, like if I was one of the ones that was shipped in the middle of nowhere and I had a team, my focus is going to be on the game, not on the problems of the team, right? If Bob's not feeling good and he wants to shoot his flare and get out of the game, that is definitely an option. But I'm not taking on the position of a therapist to keep him in alignment and hopefully save him from himself. It's not my job. My job is to um, play the game, right? And so I always like to look at life sort of as a game, but with compassion and empathy. And the more responsibility we take for other people, the less responsibility they take for themselves. There's no circulation or reciprocity or giving and receiving there. If you're willing to take on the responsibility of another individual, they are happy to hand it over to you, because that just means that you're going to be super attentive to what their needs are, and you're going to fulfill their needs before you are yours, because if you fulfill your needs before theirs, the story tells you that you should feel guilty or shameful. There was one point of that journey where they had stolen one of the other team's players' shoes. So she didn't have any shoes for the last leg of the journey. So in order for her to do the last leg of the journey, she had to have the shoes or she would be holding back her team, right? Because you can't walk out there barefoot. And she went to them, to the team that stole her shoes, and she said, "Can I have my shoes back?" Right? And I'm like, "No." No, you cannot have your shoes back. But what I loved is the strategy, because right, there was three people on their team, two people on the other team, and right, three's a crowd. And so in my mind, I thought, even though he's doing it strategically because he wants to feel good about himself and he feels like it's the right thing to do to give her shoes back, that third party could potentially hold back the whole team. And if you were to watch it, you would see she actually did hold back the team on the first day. And so they actually eliminated her on the second day because she was holding the team back, right? But the savage part is they had to make an executive decision based on the needs of the whole team. Because if one member is not taking responsibility of themselves, they're holding the whole team back. And she was given multiple opportunities to rise above and show up, which again, I wouldn't do because she wouldn't take on the responsibility for herself. But as soon as, right, as soon as she walks away from that game, I guarantee within her own life, she started to implement more responsibility, more advocacy, more showing up for herself because she realized nobody's going to do it for her. And if you go back to the old saying, like, nobody's going to save you, actually, you don't want anybody to save you. It takes your power away. It eliminates the grit that you can put into your journey, your life journey, and the things that you can learn to feel safe and secure, right? I want to be drop shipped in the middle of nowhere and I want to know how to make a fire. I want to know how to hunt. I want to know how to filter my water. I want to know all of these things just because. Just because. But if I'm always piggyback riding on other people, then that's always going to put me in an unsafe position because I'm going to have to trust somebody that probably doesn't even trust themselves, right? So it is important. So the main theme today was the Eight of Cups, and this is literally an individual walking away from what's no longer serving her. She's liberating herself, advocating for herself. Finally, the veil drops and the awakening happens, and now she's conscious. And I also recommend looking up the number 137. Somebody mentioned that on a feed yesterday, and I looked it up and I was like, oh my gosh. So 137 is an angel number, and I recommend looking it up as just the number and looking at all the different layers through the angel number, through the scientific theory of 137. But it was pretty mind-blowing because it's just a regular number, 79, and it equals to 11 even. 11. Okay, and so we're going to see what archetype you're currently resonating at. Okay, so surround yourself with protective energy, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Protective energy is devotion to the self. I don't need Bob to protect me because I am very good at protecting myself. And the reason why I'm good at it is because my faith is devotion, absolute devotion to the seamless universe. I know if I ask for something, I am going to get it. Unless my heart is distorted. My heart's distorted. I may be asking for things I don't really want, right? Like we want support and help, but we're afraid to ask for it because if you allow somebody into your space, they might take over, control, take your power away from you because that's what you're used to experiencing. So you can't actually receive support until you've learned how to wholeheartedly support yourself. What that means is, how do you feed yourself? Is your house clean? Is your car clean? Are you crossing your T's, dotting your I's? This is real simple, basic information or behaviors that you can implement and transform your entire life. And during the awakening process, it can be detrimental to your psyche if you awaken and your house is a mess, your car's a mess, your bills aren't paid, you don't have a good job, you don't have good people around you. So remember, if you're about to have awakening, about to birth yourself into this world, surrender to the magic of who you are. You're about to surrender to that. So just make sure that everything is in alignment. Your subconscious will get that effortlessly. You just got to create a command center. Like, I command that you put this into place, right? It's like the old story, the old parable where the captain is on the top of the ship and all of the pirates are on the bottom of the ship and they're filling the steam, the burner, so that the steam keeps the ship running. And there's also somebody down there steering the boat. But the captain has to tell the people down in the bottom because they can't see. They don't know what is going on. They don't know how to navigate. And so the captain of the ship has to keep barking the orders and commands down there so that they know what to do. You know, a good way to do that is like have somebody blindfold you, like your friend or whatever. Have them blindfold you and give you directions and see if you can follow them. You'd be surprised. Your brain, you have to shut down this part to get your brain activated so that it learns how to see in different ways. Lots of different therapies, staring at yourself in the mirror, blindfolding yourself, challenging yourself to figure out your own problems and make your own decisions without asking other people. That's where you are. That's what the Eight of Cups is doing. And so I'm looking to see if there's anything blocking. So your attachment to results, right? Right now it's scary because you're stepping into an area you've never stepped in before. So you're just going to allow that unfolding. Allow that unfolding. Okay, surrender your ego, the one who wants to try to figure everything out, right? Cultivate gratitude, be of service to others, and that come from your heart. I'm only serving if it's reciprocal. I have to get that reciprocity going before the dissolution of me wanting something back. Like I'm going to continue to do things for something until I actually experience reciprocity. Once I experience reciprocity, I'll no longer be thinking about whether I'm going to receive or not, because the reciprocity is now active in my life, and every time I give, I receive. I give, I receive. I give, I receive. I give, I receive. It's just an ongoing. It's ongoing. It never ends once you get that motor going. Okay. Shape your future. So you are the creator of your future. Make choices that reflect your highest self. That's exactly what we've been talking about. So important to implement new behaviors and stick to them. Perseverance, consistency, repetition. Those are the only things that shut down the old system. And I like how he's just sort of laying stone by stone, right? He's looking at each one, intentionally laying each stone. Intentionally. Get a pencil, piece of paper out. What do you want? Learn from pain. Pain is a catalyst for change. Allow it to lead you to deeper wisdom and growth. Right? So something is starting to grow. It has poked through the surface and is now revealing itself. Release the soul burden. What you carry in silence still shapes your path. Speak it, feel it, and finally let it go. Good stuff. Okay, so just to go over a few things that we've already discussed. Self-advocacy, right? Know and discern the difference between what is yours and what is not. Another great example, I went to a restaurant and the server brought me my meal, but it wasn't made in the way that I asked for it to be made and what she agreed to do for me. And I let her know, you did not make this correctly, please send it back. And so I sent it back. She brought it back, right? But I could have sat there and just eaten it. And then I'm letting the energy know that it's okay not to get it right. I don't think so. Ooh, another great one is I went to a restaurant and I ordered over medium eggs. I always order over medium eggs. And I've also found that ordering over medium eggs often presents obstacles. Like I'll get my eggs and they're too runny, or I'll get my eggs and they're overcooked and I'll have to send them back. And so I went to this restaurant They sent, and it was really expensive. Like my meal was at least $25-$30. And I had gotten eggs and got my first set, and I was like, nope, of course I'm going to send it back. I'm paying really good money for this meal. Send it back. They bring them back. The eggs are still not right. I send them back. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the manager of the restaurant comes flying over, magically sets down my eggs, and he goes, "You're going to love these. They're perfect." And I was like, okay. So I cut it open, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, these eggs are divine. He goes, just to give you a little insight, information about this, medium cooked eggs are the most difficult to cook because they're either not done enough or overdone. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I've been experiencing my entire time that I've always loved medium eggs. And for the first time, I understood why they always got my eggs wrong. Second, I was consistent and I persevered and I didn't settle for what I was being given. I wanted what I asked for. And that manager was the best, made me feel really good. He goes, I'm so glad that you did that, and thank you. Because if I don't know my cooks are cooking something wrong, I can't make it a better restaurant. I can't implement better behaviors. So thank you for your willingness. And I didn't feel bad. I knew that I needed the right eggs. So this is where you are. Like, get it right. When you ask for something, make sure you get what you asked for. If you pay for something, make sure you get what you paid for. Nothing is wrong with you getting what you asked for. Surrender, disruption, and determination. That is probably the biggest thing is people are afraid to disrupt. They sugarcoat it, they tiptoe around it, they suppress themselves because they're afraid to trigger somebody. They're afraid to create conflict. But that is the only place we grow. Conflict is the glory of growth. Like, as soon as you get mad and you ask for what you want, 9 times out of 10 you get it. There's a very tiny little 1% chance that they'll continue their shenanigans. But I tell you, be authoritative for what you want. You're not only doing yourself a favor, you're doing others a favor. Just by me sending those eggs back, he was able to go into his kitchen and say, okay, who's the cook? Who's in charge? And why don't you know what an over medium or a medium egg looks like? Because first off, it's a super fancy restaurant, so the cooks are probably getting paid, astronomical amount of money. And because of that, he's got options. He can hire cooks from all over the world with that kind of paycheck. So it's, and even if it's not that in that circumstance, you might go to just a regular restaurant. Still, it'll just continue to be just a regular mundane restaurant if they don't implement good behaviors in the kitchen. So that good behavior implementation ripples into every single person that walks in after you. And if you want to know, like, that's the lineage. Like, I am the matriarch, and I am going to make sure there is a seamless connection and manifestation in my family. That's your job. That's everybody's job. If all of us get that right, our families will manifest at lightning speed. There won't be any more lack. There won't be any more lack of faith. The faith will be so strong and so impenetrable that there's no wishy-washy. There's no asking for something and thinking you might not get it. Let's see what your planetary looks like. And then we'll also pull a frequency card. So communication. So you are in the house of communication. You've got the Eight of Cups. This is self-love. This is full cycle. You have had enough. And that is it. You are ready to let go and liberate. You're discerning what is yours and what is not yours. Letting go of your attachment to results. Once you get into alignment with the self, everything just works for you perfectly, no matter what. And so let's see what you're frequencing so we know what you're manifesting, or see where you are in the manifestation. Okay. So consciousness, just like we were talking about, you're becoming conscious. The veil is dropping. You're starting to discern. You're starting to surrender to the magic of who you are. You're letting go of the attachments that you've had, and you are standing in self-proclamation so that you know exactly where you're going, what steps you're taking, making sure they're intentional. And communication is key. I'm not holding back. You want to know what I'm doing? This is what I'm doing. I didn't ask for your opinion. I'm not interested in what you think. You asked a question. There you go. So the frequency of consciousness supports our ability to focus our attention on all the multidimensional aspects that show up so that we can include them in our reality. So this is a wonderful reading. Congratulations. This is a huge achievement. You are just now stepping free. Persevere. Stay the course. You are in perfect alignment. Even if it doesn't look like it, you absolutely are. I love you so much, and it's a complete honor to be here. My name is Bobby, psychic medium, twin flame facilitator, and first and foremost, a Reiki practitioner. Clearing your energy now. Today is going to be a good day. Stay on the lookout for miracles.